Celebrating entrepreneurs and creativity. Talking business, pleasure, real life get together. Join us here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Creative Entrepreneur Podcast, where we turn creativity into careers and passion into profit. Before we start, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, our amazing sponsors, Route 36. Thank you so much. We absolutely love you guys. And yeah, I just want to get into it. I'm super gassed to have one of my friends, but who is also an amazing person, big influencer with over 1.2 million TikTok followers and all sorts, the absolute legend, Luke. Welcome, Luke, to the Creative Entrepreneur Podcast.
Can I get that intro chopped down and I'll just like put it on my profile, mate? That was that was an amazing intro, thank you.
Honestly, I'm really excited, and when I realised that I was doing this season, the first season actually of the Creative Entrepreneur Podcast, I knew I had to have you on, and there's several different reasons why I knew I had to have you on. Firstly, you've been a soldier, just committed to your craft, committed to excellence, just from back a day when I'm seeing all these annoying Snapchats come on, and you've just been so bloody consistent, and I think that's an ingredient that a lot of people don't actually have, just that consistency. So actually, like, tell us, before we even go into any of all of that, tell us about Luke. Like, who is Luke?
Luke is a big fool by trade, by day. I'm kind of somebody that just has a ball of energy that needs to be released. Like if I'm just sat in a room. So I wasn't the greatest in school just because I was actually good academically, but because of my energy and because of the way that I am, I needed like outbursts. So I needed to be doing stuff like moving and stuff, and that was the only reason I used to get in trouble in school, is just because I couldn't just sit down and be still. And I'm a big man now. You know what? I still can't do that.
I would hate to be your teacher. Honestly, if I was your teacher, that would be, oh my goodness, because I could imagine you just getting up and running from one end of the room to the other. And
till this day, I still I have to like randomly scream. Like I'll just be sitting there and it'll be like, I feel this energy and I'm like, that feels better. And I don't know what it is. I literally have to do it, and it's crazy.
I love it. But it's the energy, it's the, it's just that kind of spark that you just need, that creativity inside that you just need to
just release. Yeah, like just literally. And that's why I think my the industry I'm in now is prospering for me, is because it's not just a job for me. It's actually like the way that I like to live my life, and that's why I'll do this regardless, and I've been doing this regardless, you know what I mean? Like as you said about the consistency, so I feel like it's just a part of me that needs to be released.
So tell us about your, when did you first realise that you were a creative being and that you had creativity to unleash?
I probably didn't realise it at the time, but when I was in college, and I remember my friends used to say, "Oh, how come you're always recording everything?" And I've still got this Sony Ericsson at home, and it's a Sony Ericsson. It's got 8.1 megapixel camera. Now that used to be like an amazing thing back then, like 8.1 megapixels, and I used to be recording people and recording myself and stuff. And I look back at it now and I think, it was just natural to me to be doing these things. And but I was studying acting as well, so kind of. The fact I was writing scripts or acting on stage or like just doing improvised scenes and stuff like that, I feel like that's all built to proving that I was a creative. And
I do want to touch upon your acting career and you studying, but did you study before you went to Birmingham School of Acting? Did you study acting before at college?
Yeah, it's at college. So I originally went to sixth form, which I completely hated. Like, it's nothing to do with the teachers or the school that I went to. It's just the fact I was doing something I didn't want to do, and I was studying sport. And I thought it was going to be good because of football and stuff like that, but it just didn't interest me in the slightest. I remember actually stepping up in my class and it was my teacher, Mr. Jones, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this no more. And I just walked out. But I knew that that wasn't for me. I did actually just go home and play GTA. But again, it was that kind of realization that wasn't my world, it wasn't my life.
You know what, I could relate because when I went to college, I studied media and English, and my brother went to a separate college, my twin, and he studied law and English and stuff, and we didn't quit. We didn't say it wasn't for us. We still kind of seen out our A levels, but actually at the end of it was like we hated that.
Yeah.
Like we just really didn't like it. So then we went back to college and done another year. I think they just introduced AS levels or something, and we went back and done another year of performing arts and theatre. And when we went there, it was like, this is more us. Like this is who we are. Like this.
Is that you feel it inside? Isn't it? It's like a natural thing.
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking. Like being parent pleasers and doing what they wanted us to do, and not necessarily what we wanted to do.
And I feel like that is a massive thing in this world, being parent pleasers. My mother was not that person. She was somebody who was always saying, like, you do what you want to do for a living. And it makes me feel, I get upset sometimes when I see people telling me they're doing this course or they're doing this job or this style of life just because of what their parents are saying. And I never had that. So I find it easy to backhand these things away because my mum told me, like, you do what you want to do, not what somebody else wants you to do. And yeah, man. And when I went to college as a joke because my friend said, like, look, we're running around like acting. You're good at acting. Like, just come over here and do it. And I was like, yeah, come on, I'll come and do it as a joke. And then I actually remember going on stage and performing and just fell in love with it, goosebumps, everything. And I just felt like powerful, like everybody here is watching this show and I'm in control of this. And it was an amazing thing. But prior to that, my year 6 teacher actually told me that when I'm older, I'll be a professional actor.
Really? In year 6?
In year 6.
Wow.
Mr. Knowles.
Wow. And that, I think that's the beauty of having great teachers who can see your ability and who believe in you and who speak life into you, because we don't understand the power of words, particularly when our teachers are telling us something, and that's why I'd always remember, like, one of the teachers telling me I would never amount to anything because those words were powerful. Equally, if a teacher's telling you, you know, you're going to be this, you're going to be an actor, then that's just, that's powerful.
Yeah,
I love
it is,
that.
man. And I remember so I got in touch with him. Once I went to college, I actually got in touch with him. I went back to my school. He wasn't working there no more. I found out that he was a town crier in Lichfield. So once I got in touch with him, I was like, look, I'm acting in college. Like, do you want to come see my shows? And he actually come to see every show from my college days, my drama school days, and my professional days. And he's not long ago passed away. And
oh man,
I just like, I honour that man so much.
Wow.
And I just feel so blessed to
was it
have
Mr.
shared
Knowles?
moment to him. Yeah, Mr. Knowles.
Shout out Mr. Knowles, man. Like,
Actually,
rest in peace.
And I got invited to his wedding. I got invited to his funeral and I did a speech.
Wow. That's incredible.
As one of his students. And I just feel like wow. But he was such a big
part.
Yeah, big part of my life, because I also had teachers that would say, oh, you won't do nothing. And to be honest, it's good that you have them teachers because it only motivates you to prove them wrong, isn't it? Some people.
Yeah. Was Mr. Knowles like a drama teacher?
Yeah,
he was.
So he used to do acting as well. They used to do this thing called Shakespeare in the Park. And he was like a big fool like me as well. So it's just like boisterous, loud, and just acting, centre of attention kind of man as well. So good guy, man. Yeah, love Mr. Knowles.
That's incredible.
And when I met him, I called him Mr. Knowles, and he was like, "No, you can call me Ken now." And like, I was like,
"Oh, was this after school when he came to your
match show?" He was like, "You can call me Ken now. Like, that's my name." And I'm like, you're Mr. Knowles to me. You'll always be Mr. Knowles to me."
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. I love that. So so you went to you done college, acting at college, and then you went
for
to
2 years.
Birmingham School of Acting. Is that right?
Yeah. Then I went there for 3 years.
What was that experience like? And when you was at Birmingham School of Acting, did you think at that point that you was 100% going to be an actor?
Yeah, so Birmingham School of Acting was phenomenal. It was the one of the best things for it is the fact that I got into a drama school that was in my hometown, so I got to stay at home with my mum and stuff. And like compared to the other students, they was eating like rice and beans and tuna pastas and stuff, and I was still having
food.
like proper food.
Proper
And
food.
the students that I was training with, we used to invite them to my house sometimes, and they were like, "Oh my God, your mum's cooking! Oh my God, please can we come over and stuff?" So I had that through the 3 years, which also helped me stay comfortable, stay like in a good place whilst I was training and stuff. But the training itself, it was difficult. It really tested me. There was some lessons that I struggled with. I still struggle with some of the stuff till this day, and but I'm just so grateful for all of it. And I feel like you learn a lot about yourself in there as well, because it wasn't just like, as much as it's kind of university, you're still doing like full days. So you're not just going to a lecture and then going home. Like you're there from 9, and sometimes you're not leaving till 9. So it's like a full day, and especially on show days, you're there at 9 and you're not leaving until like 11. So, and then like the next day you're back in and stuff, and it was tough, man.
Crazy.
But the good thing about it was, I didn't realise this until I left, because as I took it for granted, but you're acting every day. Every single day. And as when you love something like that, as much as it obviously wasn't paying, but you're still doing your craft every day.
What was your go-to monologue?
Oh, I never actually had like a go-to monologue.
So what was your favourite one to do? Like a Denzel or?
Nah, so we, what did I do for my audition? So I remember doing, it was just Julius Caesar, but I done, no, it weren't Mark Antony, it was oh my God, what was his name? So this is going to make me look bad now. But I never had a go-to monologue, you know. I actually never had a go-to monologue. You had to actually have monologues for auditions, like prepped for you. So you had a few, Titus Andronicus, I had that. That was a nice one from Shakespeare. And then you had to have a modern one as well. And then they prepared you to do that when you got into the industry. But the truth of the matter is, when you get in the industry, they kind of want you to do the scripts that they've prepared for you. So so I've not really had to do them.
So I've read somewhere, just speaking on your acting career, that you've done stuff for Disney, and that you.
So
is that like?
No, so that's through my social media.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually reviewing the new Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, which is amazing, by the way. Have you watched it?
I've watched the first few episodes.
Have you liked it? It's nice, isn't it? And I feel like the fact that they actually, like, it's a black superhero, and it's nice to see they're actually putting like actual view on a black superhero. And by the time you get to the final episode, I had goosebumps. I was like, really? Oh my God, like, yes. Yes.
Love that.
Let's go, man. Black power. I've actually got to upload the final review today.
Oh, okay. Wicked. So we're just going to get straight to it, because I know a lot of people will probably be wondering, you've got like over 1 million followers on TikTok. We need to understand how you reach that milestone, firstly. But then secondly, like, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as somebody with a massive following and a huge community, like, how do you make your dough? How do you make your money? Where do you, like, we need to get the secrets here. Like, people are, they're listening and they want to know like, how does it all work?
So social media pays. So for instance, my TikTok, I've got management. So
you got management for your TikTok?
Yeah. So I've got management for TikTok. So like the shout out to Yoke. They're my management, Yoke Management, and they will get me brand deals. So they will.
So, wait a second. So, if I didn't know you, would I have had to go through Yoke to get you on my podcast, or is that just for TikTok related stuff?
That's for, so they're for my
brand deals
and social media stuff. So they control the they get me the work for my Instagram and my TikTok.
Yeah.
So, but people can still contact me directly, and then if I feel like I want to push them over to my management, I just tell them to email a certain email, and then my manager will get back in touch with them.
Is that the people that you think can't afford you, or
some people like I still reply to, and I'll just be like, this is my price, blah 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 blah. But then if it's an actual brand deal, like it's in my contract, isn't it, that the work that approaches me, I pass it on to them, and then we work out a fee and stuff like that. So like the Disney Plus one, for instance, Disney got in touch with my management saying we want to work with Luke. We want him to do this, and then we all had like a Google Meets call, and we sorted out what was to go ahead.
So how did they find you? Do they like have researchers that look
on TikTok?
Like TikTok,
yeah. So people will be seeing your following, seeing your engagement, seeing your views and stuff like that, and just be like, yep, this is a good person to get in touch with right now. I guess. I'm guessing that's how it works. But my management will also approach brands, and they'll be like, this is Luke's analytics. These are the people that he's worked with at the moment. So they'll be like, he's worked with Burger King, he's worked with Tiny Temper, he's worked with Disney. Do you want to work with him? Like,
you're just throwing these names out like
no, but that's but that's
Burger King, Tiny Temper.
But I'm guessing that's how it works. You know what I mean? So, but I'm extremely grateful for my CV, because my CV is actually amazing if I think about it. Yeah. I've worked with like one of my first ones that I've done was Dave, the TV channel.
Wow.
And I was just like, whoa, what's going on?
So what was it like kind of working with Tiny Temper and working with
So the Tiny Temper campaign, this is what's good about me when I get campaigns. So the Tiny Temper campaign, it was to do with Tiny Temper, but it was his management. So his management wanted to push his song, which was called Whopper. And Whopper, obviously people associate that with Whopper and Whopper Burger. So Burger King then done a collaboration. So Tiny Temper's management wanted me to say, guys, a Whopper card is coming out. This is how you can win one. And then they were sending me one. And then it was just my then reaction to say, look, I've got a Whopper card. This is how you can get yours, kind of thing. But me being strategic was like, this is huge. This is Burger King. This is Tiny Temper. I can't just do something simple. So I actually done like the ad bigger than what it actually was. So I decided to make a music video about this Whopper card, and include Tiny Temper into the video. So like the way that we edited it, Tiny Temper, I've got my phone screen like that, and it zooms in on the phone screen, and then it goes to his actual music video, and then it zooms back out, and it's me back in Burger King being an idiot. And from that, like Tiny Temper added me. He messaged me on Twitter, saying like, we've got other stuff in the pipeline. Like, we'd love to keep in touch. Like,
wow. But that is the thing about being an entrepreneur. You have to be creative. You have to think outside of the box. You have to under promise and over deliver. And when you do that, then you get noticed, and that is just incredible.
And that was the thing. Like, as much as like when people saw it, they legit thought it was bigger than it was. Like, obviously it paid well, but people till this day think it paid more than it actually did.
Yeah, because of the and the
production and the production that I put into it. But I done that purposely, because then once people saw that production, other brands started coming in like, oh my God, whoa.
Wow.
This is the type of stuff he does. We thought he just does this. And I'm like, nah, I do other things, like I do bigger things.
Yeah, love that. Just other strings to your bow. And is it true that you got like a Burger King card for unlimited Burger King as a vegan?
Yes. So I said to my manager, I was like, but I'm vegan, so why are you giving me this Whopper card? And basically I said to them, as long as I can still state the fact that I'm vegan, and it's kind of pointless you giving me this card, I would do the ad, basically. And like now, I'm not one of these people. I am one of these people that are like, I stand by veganism, and I'm like, yeah, this is like better for me, and it's better for people. But each to their own. If you don't want to be vegan, don't be vegan. And I've got this card, and when I'm out with my friends, if they want a burger, then I just go there and just get 6-7 burgers and
you did ask
give them
what we're having
burgers.
for lunch, innit?
We go Burger King.
I love that.
The one thing that annoyed me though, they do a plant-based burger.
Oh, do they?
Yes, but it's cooked in the same oil as the meat one, so it's not actually vegan.
So did you ask them if they cook it in the same oil?
It's just known. That's why they call it a plant-based Whopper, but they can't say it's vegan. But the one thing they can say is vegan at the moment is the new chicken royale. I don't know what they called it, but the vegan chicken royale is vegan because it's just baked in the oven.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. You learn something new every day.
Indeed.
So, just going back to your TikTok, tell us, how did you amass over 1.2 million followers on TikTok? Imagine having over 1 million followers. Like, just
it's surreal. Honestly,
to me that's mind blowing. Like,
no, it is. The thing is, I was just on the phone to my friend on the way here and we was talking about things and he kind of said the same thing, and you realise that people are still just humans. Like, you're still the same person, you know what I mean? So even like the biggest superstars that are out there, sometimes we as people forget that they're just normal people. And like, as much as it's changed financially, people see me and like want to take photos and stuff, and I'm just humble for it. I'm just like, this is amazing, like wow. But I first started up, I had a break from social media, like when you saw me on Snapchat and stuff, and that was good as well, and I was earning money from that as well. And then big depression just hit, and I was like, I can't do this no more, so I had to stop faking it. But then there was a point where I was like, this is the time I'm coming back, and I jumped on Instagram. And Instagram and Snapchat was kind of the same that it was before. And then I listen a lot to Gary Vee. Do you listen to Gary?
Yeah.
And he was just
Gary Vee.
Yeah, shout out to Gary Vee, man. He's the biggest G out there, man. And he was just pumping TikTok, talking about TikTok. Like, whoever you are, like, you don't know, you can do 50 videos and one of them can get like millions of views. And it's like, if you're a creative or you're an entrepreneur or you have a business, like, why not just join it? Because you never know. If you don't get the results. Was it TikTok then or Musical.ly? So when he was talking about it, when I saw it, TikTok. Oh, okay. So I joined just after Musical.ly. Oh, okay. But it was still a while. It was still a TikTok for a while because I'd never heard of Musical.ly before. And I went to go and see him in Birmingham, and he was doing his speech and stuff. And again, he was talking about TikTok. And as soon as I got home, I just uploaded my first TikTok. I uploaded a video that I actually done on my Snapchat that got good like results. I uploaded it on my TikTok and it done nothing really, kind of just like whatever. And then I done a second video that actually like done decent considering I had no following. So it hit like, the first video hit like under 100 views, and then the next one hit, I think it was like in the thousands, so it was like about 3,000 views, and I was like, oh wow. But this is like being a bit more of Luke, like Luke's style, Luke's energy. And I was like, this is crazy, man. And then my friend, Matt Bolland, shout out to Matt Bolland, he done a video, and it was like a video that's kind of shaped my whole TikTok career in a sense. And on TikTok, you can use people's sounds. And like at the time when I joined, it was like a trend to lip sync. So I used his voice, but put my own spin on it, and the video just went, wow. And it literally hit, I think it's on about 3 or 4 million now, but from going from like 3,000 views and under 100 views, at the time, 100k views was mind-blowing. Wow. And then I hit 1,000 followers, and then the next day I woke up, I was on 2,000 followers. And then the next day I was on 10k, and I was like, what's going on? Wow. Like, I'm going viral, what's going on? And within about 2 weeks, I hit 270k. In 2 weeks. And what I decided to do is, from that video, I decided to make a series out of it. So I'd made a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, and every time I was putting them videos out as a part 4 or whatever, they were just getting millions and millions of views. Like the part 3 of that series is now on 13.1 million views, or 13.7 million views, I think it's on. Wow. Which is just like, what's going on? Wow. And I remember getting invited to a Ray event, you know, the singer Ray, and contacted me, and I was like, is this real? Like, is it fake? And then when I got there was other big TikTokers there. Because it's like a community. Yeah, it's like a little community, and I've walked into this room of 3 weeks of being on TikTok, and there's people on there that have got like 1.7 million, 2 million, 500,000, 100K followers. And they're all talking. And like, I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, how long you been on TikTok? And I'm like, 3 weeks. And they're like, you what? And your following's like this in 3 weeks.
Wow.
I've been at like since Musically, and I'm on 1.5 mil.
Wow.
And they literally saying like, oh, you're going to blow.
Just seeing it. That's how they invited you to the event. That's incredible. That's absolutely amazing.
So then now it's like one, I think it's 1.3 now.
Wow.
And I hit that the other day, yeah.
And you have to, obviously, you know, you had your first video that went viral, but what you didn't do is kind of rest on your laurels. You was like, right, okay. At that point, did you get really strategic with it?
Yeah, extremely strategic. And that's one thing I have to commend myself for. So once I realised something was working, I decided to bleed it out until it wasn't working. And guess what? I'm on part 83 right now.
Wow.
I'm uploading part 84 today, so it's
still working.
It's still bleeding.
That bleed is ongoing, man.
It's still bleeding.
Love it. Absolutely
Crazy.
love it. Wow. So, but I think that's the key part, like being very intentional with how you use your content and how you put content out and how you grow your following, because
it's a business. And I remember the week before I actually joined TikTok, I made a TikTok, but I watched it for a whole week.
Really?
And I started noting down trending hashtags. I started noting down the videos that were working. And I was like, why is this video working? Why has this video got 18 million views and 4 million likes? And it's like this. And I was like, is it the lighting? So then I decided to buy myself like a little selfie light camera that clips onto the top of my phone. And that made everything look brighter, made my teeth look whiter, everything. And then I was like, what's next? I bought a mic to plug into my phone to make the sound a bit more clear, because I started realizing that videos with sound that had clear sound were going viral. I then made a second account that I used to record my skits on. So I'd record it, film it in black, just so it was a voiceover, and then I would do the voiceover on my page. And people in the comments would be like, it's not even his voice, but I knew it was mine. And I never rose to that. I never told them it wasn't my voice. I let them argue in the comments, because the more that the engagement was happening, the more views I was getting and the more publicity I was getting. So it was a tactic, and yeah, you have to be strategic in this game.
Wow. But that's...
Otherwise you have no back legs. Like, you're going to fall off.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what people need to realise when they're listening. Whoever's listening to this podcast and you really want to grow your TikTok following, make sure that you are strategic, make sure you're intentional. You just mentioned about like doing homework. Like, what's your 3 top tips that you would give to anybody right now that really is serious about growing their TikTok following? You've got to
know what it is that you like to do. You then don't give up on what you like to do, but you then need to know how to make it work on there. And literally be consistent. As you said earlier, like consistency is the biggest thing. There was a period where I got complacent and
on TikTok.
Yeah, I got very complacent. I was hitting nothing less than 1 million views because my account was popping. And then one of my videos hit 500,000. And I was like, huh? 500,000, and I
ungrateful, you know.
Ungrateful. I went very snobby for it. And then I also was just weren't in the best of places anyway. And I remember I never uploaded for like a month and a half.
Really?
And then I uploaded again, and I had about 300K views.
Wow.
And I was like, what's going on? Did I miss the train? Like, why did I jump off the train? Now, to this day, if I get anything over 100K, 50K, like, they're still amazing numbers. And I was like being like, huh? Like, and my account's popping again now, so I'm getting, most of my videos, I'm getting millions of views again. But I was just like, what's going on?
And it's crazy.
Like, I was like looking at a video, because I was so used to getting 1 million, 4 million, 7 million, 8 million. As soon as I hit 500,000, I was like, huh? What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
And that was the thing as well. I started to like blame myself and start thinking like something's happening. Yeah. But realistically, I should have just carried on going. But I learned from that lesson.
Good. And do you upload once a day?
Yeah, daily. Yeah. So I tend to most of the time. Yeah, it's either daily, 1 a day, sometimes 2 a day, or if I miss a day, I tend to upload like 2 the next day.
Because your fans are waiting.
Yeah. But there's some people on TikTok that upload 3 a day, every single day. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But it's just what works with them. What works for them. What works for me was 1 a day, around about. So another tip actually is looking at your audience. So you find out who your audience is, and most of mine's the UK, and then some of it's America. So prime time for me to upload is around about 7 or 8. Again, because I've done the research. 7 o'clock in the evening, people are awake. In America, it's like 12 p.m. /1/3, depending on what state they're in. So people are going to see it both times. Where if I was to upload at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Americans are going to be sleeping.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get the views as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So between 6 and 9 was kind of my time. And I've got an alarm on my phone till this day. 18:59, it goes off.
Wow.
And it's basically, people around me wouldn't know, like, they know, like, oh, it's your TikTok alarm. We was playing football the other day and we finished at like 7:10. And behind the goal, you just heard my phone going off and off and off. And my friend's like, freaking hell, man, your TikTok alarm's going off. But I already had the video saved in my draft. As soon as I finished the game, I uploaded it.
Wow. People don't realise like how much effort and thought and just commitment has to go through.
Full-time job.
You have to go through to push that content out. So yes,
Yep.
brand deals come true because it's effort. No, I love that. And I think like anybody that knows Luke knows that you're always smiling and happy and just full up of energy. But
Thanks, mate.
you've also been quite vocal that it hasn't always been that way. And you are vocal about mental health and you've lost
for sure.
and you've grieved. Like, do you want to just talk to us a little bit about kind of your history, your past life, and
So when it was the big one, when I lost my mum. So, and it was just like I was living in a dream world. I kind of come out of drama school. I've just got a really good agent. I straight away landed a job that was touring the UK. I've gone on this tour. I'm loving life. I've come home. Everything's just like dreamlike. Everything's dreamlike. And again, when you asked me earlier, I was thinking like, my acting career is just going to go from here to here. Like I'm making it basically. And at that moment, there was just a point. I got offered another job as well to do another tour, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. And then Mum just fell sick with cancer. And it was just kind of like, huh? Like, where's this coming from kind of thing? And me and my brother decided to be like her full-time carers because ultimately they told us that she'd only have 4 weeks to live. And this was in December. My mum was in hospital through Christmas. So it was like one of the first Christmases I've not spent with my mum.
Wow. So you was told that she had cancer, and you was also told she had 4 weeks to live?
Yeah, they said around about 4 weeks to live. And that was in December. And then they told us that the chemotherapy wouldn't work. She had cancer on the brainstem. And it's just something that wouldn't be healed in a sense. So then they were like, but we could still give her the chemotherapy. And I was just like, why? Why would my mum go through all this pain and suffering if the suffer's coming anyway, in a sense? So we decided to take her home, be a full-time carer. And to be honest, things were going great. We decided, this is the first time I actually touched upon vegan because we'd done all this research about loads of different things. And I then learned about acidic food. So the food that feeds cancers in a sense. So then we decided to cut out everything that feeds cancers. We went to an alkaline diet, and I was doing that with my mum. And prior to that, I was like, I'll never stop eating chicken. I'll never stop doing this. And then once I looked into it all, I was just like kicking it to the curb. And my mum went from having headaches all the time. All her headaches started to go. She started walking better. She started communicating better. She actually started feeling better. And then it weren't until like April, so she went past the 4 week mark, that she started to deteriorate. And then I remember on my birthday, which was the 24th of April, my brother was like, Luke, go and enjoy yourself. Like, go to the cinema. You've been cooped up at home with mum this whole time. Go to the cinema. And went to the cinema, get a call from Lee. Mum had a fit. Had to come home, and the next day, mum passed away.
Wow. Gosh. Oh, wow. So you're in this space and, you know, you're a creative being and you've got all this energy and you hear this news and what does Luke do at this stage? Does he, you know, put this into his creativity, his grief, or does he stop? Does he do nothing? Does he keep still? Like what? Where's Luke?
So Luke at that stage, at first, completely give up. So I completely give up. I actually rang my agent, effing and blinding, screaming on the phone because I was angry at life. Like, why? Because with cancer as well, I feel like what I felt like anyway, you only ever heard of it. You only ever heard of people dying. It was never somebody in my family. It was never close. And then when it actually hit me, it was the closest person to me. It was like my best friend. So I was like, what? So I was like this. I was proper angry. I told them I quit. I'm never doing it again. And I just went into like a full state of depression. I remember there was a crack in my wall that I used to just sit on the edge of my bed and just look at this crack. Days on end. Hardly eating, hardly sleeping. Didn't really do anything. Luke, this big energy of Luke was gone in a sense. And the job I told you about that I was offered from the theatre company, Zest Theatre, they offered me to come and do a tour and actually write the show. And very close to home, but the show was actually based on how to thrive on life after death. And he's asked me and he's like, Luke, I know what's just happened with your mum. Like, do you want to still do it? And I was like, no, like I'm done. And it was about a week later, I remember again looking at the crack in my wall and the room started to like fill up, like energy out of nowhere. Something took over the room. And I remember standing up and I picked up the phone and it was kind of like robotic like. And I picked up the phone and I said, Toby, I'll take the job. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. Let's do this kind of thing. And I hung up, and as soon as I hung up, I collapsed. And till this day, and when I tell that story, I always say, I never took that call. I never made that call. My mum made that call.
Wow.
And I feel like my mum was basically saying, like, fix up.
Get
You can't.
shit together.
Yeah. You can't just be dwelling on life all the time. Like, you've got a lot to achieve. I might not be here, but I'll still be looking over you kind of thing.
Wow.
And I went to do that show. And this is where I realized that being creative is the best thing for me because that show was based on how to thrive on life after death. And doing that show, when we performed and even through rehearsals, I was crying all the time.
Wow.
But it was my therapy.
Yeah.
That was my therapy. I didn't have to sit down across from somebody and have therapy. My therapy was acting.
Wow.
And I remember being on stage and I wrote this, I've actually uploaded it to my Instagram, like I made another version of it, but I wrote a spoken word for the play. And every night I'd do this spoken word and people obviously thought it was to do with the play, but there were segments in there that I wrote solely for mum. And every night, streams of tears.
Bawling.
Yeah. But then
Can
at
you
the end
imagine?
of the show, it's like this uplifting feel of like, before I die, I want to. Like, what do you want to do before you die? If you want to do something, you go and do it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing my mum was like. She was a grafter, and she taught me how to do that in a sense.
Wow, goodness me. Well, and I think that's, for me, that's where the art is just incredible. It kind of allows you. It allows you to put yourself into a situation, and it allows you to speak about your feelings and in different ways, and it is therapeutic, and you can tell stories through arts and give you feelings. So I can completely resonate with everything that you just said, and you know, respect to you for just actually doing it and you know, and just doing the show, because that's
the show saved my life, man. And the director, Toby Ilden, saved my life, actually pulling me in there. And then it was from after that I found social media and I started doing Snapchat, and it was at that stage that things were like going good again. And then I feel like I properly didn't really grieve for mum because it was so sudden that I started actually feeling different. I remember going on tour, and an unfortunate moment, what happened as well is that my nephew's mum passed away. And my nephew, his dad is my brother, and he passed away when I was 9 as well. So then he come to live with me. So I was like his a parent.
So let's just rewind a little bit. So your nephew's mum passed away.
Yes, not long after my mum.
And then, how old was your nephew at the time?
Of when his mum passed?
Yeah.
About 17, I think, 16, 17. So it was just after school.
And then his dad passed away, which is your brother.
Yeah, when I was 9. So when he was like 1.
Yeah. So his dad passed away. So because his mum passed away and his dad had already previously passed, he came to live with you.
Yeah. So I then basically became his like legal guardian, and
Wow.
which was another like new thing. I basically become like a parent. But I remember the thing that hit me is I went on tour and I left some washing up, and I come back and the washing up was still there, and it hit me. No, it's funny, but it hit me and I broke down in tears. And I was like, Mum's not actually here. And it was something as simple as washing up that actually shut me down.
Yeah.
And it really hit me, and I was like, Mum's not here. Whoa. Because usually I'd go and do something. My mum would probably say like, oh, you should have done the washing up. I get home, the washing up would be done, you know what I mean? And that was
I think it's usually those little things that kind of make you remember, makes it hit home that it's tough.
Yeah, man.
It's tough. But hats off. And I remember now you saying that you used to do a lot of snaps with you and your nephew, but I never would have known that those were the circumstances. I just thought.
Yeah, so we had this like best friend, brothers, uncle, father relationship.
Wow.
So if he messed up, I turned into dad. When we was both doing foolishness, we were best friends. When I was giving him stuff, I was basically like uncle, you know what I mean? So like it was just this.
Yeah. How is he now?
He's good, man. He's good, man. He's living with his best friend at the moment, and he's actually currently looking after my dog. So thank you, whilst me and the missus are doing up the new house.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
So yeah, man.
Incredible.
And to be honest, he's, as much as I've had them losses as well, like he's had them losses as well. So it's been, and he actually messaged me the other day and he was like, oh, it's amazing what you're doing, because no matter what you've been through, you've still pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And I feel like I don't know if I would have done this if I never went through them things. Because as much as I'm a creative, by nature, I'm also lazy. I'm a lazy person in the sense when it comes to some things. But having that pain happen to me has made me say, nah, forget this. Full steam ahead. Like I have to.
Yeah.
Because I could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah. And it's not just that, like, because you've been incredibly resilient. Like you've gone through so much, and you are a creative, but it's not just a creative. It's like, it's almost like it's a business as well, and you've had to get your mind together for the business. Because if it doesn't pop, you don't eat. So you've
basically.
So, you know, and I think people forget, particularly when it's around social media and anything to do with kind of being a influencer in some way, or an actor or anything like that, or even a singer. Like, people forget that actually there is a business side to it, and you still have to market yourself. You still have to, manage your diary. You still have to have systems and processes and file your tax returns and blah 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 blah. And I think people forget that, and they just think you're just having a laugh, like you're
and
just being jolly.
As much as I am having a laugh, them things are behind the scenes as well. And again, social media is the true representation of showing what you want to show. You're not. Some people don't show, like, as much as the hard times that happen, I sometimes mention them because I feel it's important for people to know that I am like you who's watching, and this is what's helped me, and this may be able to help you. But there was a time when it was a day my granddad passed, and it was during lockdown and stuff, and he was in a care home, and I got this call saying granddad's passed, and literally I was at the park doing a workout, and I just broke into tears, and I ran to this care home, and I've spent my time with my granddad, and I've literally like cried my eyes out, like obviously going through the pains. But the one thing I learned going through my life is that no matter what happens, you have to come to a stage of acceptance. Like it's not about like, oh yeah, thanks, jolly, don't worry about it. Like, but by acceptance, I mean like you accept the feelings that come with these things. So you accept the pain, you accept being upset, you accept crying. Like it's not, you don't shy away from that. You don't have to be this manly man. Like break down, allow it to come in. Once you allow that, then you control it from then onwards. And I remember absolutely being at a stage where I couldn't breathe, kind of thing, crying. And as soon as I left the care home, my girlfriend's like, "Oh, come on, we'll go back home now." And I was like, "No, drop me to the park. Like I've got a workout to finish." And that's where I'm at in life now, where I'm at the stage where like, no matter what happens, I still want to achieve the things that are happening. Like you've got to continue to go. And I remember I was going through that workout, blood, sweat and tears. I was training harder, if I'm honest. I was actually training harder, but crying at the same time.
That's powerful. That acceptance piece is just powerful. Like just saying, this has happened. Accept the fact that you are going to be upset, or you are going to cry, and just accept it. And
you go in, you like the okay. One thing I explained, somebody said to me like, "Oh, how did you get over losing your mum?" And I'm like, "I'm never over it, never have been." And I said to the person, I was like, "It actually gets worse every single day. You just learn to live with it."
Really?
Yep. That's for me. Yeah. I miss my mum that much more every single day.
Time makes it easier, don't they?
For me, time makes it easier to live with it. Like, but there's still times, like, I haven't got kids yet. I know deep down in my head that my mum's not going to be holding my kids in front of my eyes. That breaks me up. That, like, kills me. Yeah. Like, I want to, like, when me and my girlfriend have children, the kids are going to go to her mum. And there's going to be a time where kids are just going to ask questions, because kids say, you know what I mean? And kids are just going to be like,
brutally honest.
Where's your mum, dad? You know what I mean? And I'm going to have to explain that mum's in heaven, or nanny's in heaven in a sense, and you've never got to meet nanny. And I'll have to then tell them how amazing she is and stuff. And obviously that's going to hurt. And these are the things that I'm now going to have to live with my life, knowing that I'm going to be doing the rest of the things, and mum can only be watching. She could be here, but not like physically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough.
It is, man.
Yeah, it's tough. But I like the philosophy. I do like that philosophy.
You have to use the pain that comes with these things. When if you're gymming and stuff, and you feel like, I can't be bothered now. I can't be asked. Sometimes you tap into that pain of what's happened in your life, and you'll find energy out of somewhere. You'll find more awakeness. You'll find strength. When you, as much as I'm an actor as well, if I'm doing any sort of like scenes that require this type of real, true hurt, I should be able to tap into it. I use my own pain to do that stuff.
Amazing. So we have talked about loads, and like the themes that stick out to me are like just commitment, like diligence and consistency, and acceptance. Just so many just amazing nuggets that you've shared. But you've accomplished so much, and I'm not even going to say overnight. I know you've worked, I've been following your journey for a while, and you've slugged at this thing, and you still continue to
this is only the beginning, is what I see it as, if I'm honest.
So if it's only the beginning, like what's next for Luke? Like what have you got in there?
Just to continue to grow, to continue to make more businesses, more avenues of income, more helping people. Like I want to help a lot of more people. The things that I've been through and going through that. The one big thing I've always spoke about that I want to do is I want to tell my brother's story. Now, when I do these talks, I purposely don't talk about it as much, but it's not something that people can't look up. And literally, if you look up Damien Vernon, you then go back into 2001 of when my brother and the police had an altercation, and my mum finds my brother dead the next day. And there was a court case with the police and stuff, and there's a lot of injustice that happened. And one of the things I've always spoke about doing is bringing light to my brother's story.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that will be next at some point.
Yeah.
I'll speak that into existence, whether it's going to be a film, a series, a documentary, something is coming soon for that. So that's maybe something that's next. And people obviously, I look at my following now, and I've got a platform now to broadcast that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And when people, I was actually speaking to somebody the other day, and he was saying he'd done a bit of digging because that's what he does. He's, I think he's got he's got a degree in like criminal investigation or something like that. And he's just said that he'd done a bit of digging, and he was like, "Luke, we need to talk."
Yeah. How old was your brother at the time?
This was in 2001, and he was 1977, so that's 22, 23, I think, maybe.
And I think, you know what, I think back then it was rife because, you know, the same happened to my cousin in 2003. Police came out, put him in a van, alive, came out the van dead.
Yeah, and this was the thing that my friend asked me, and the other week, when the George Floyd thing was going on, and he was like, obviously, you and your family have been through altercations with the police before. What's your feeling on this? And I was like, to be honest, I'm so happy that things have changed now, but I'm also jealous because back in 2001, we never had social media. Yeah. We never had togetherness.
Yes, we didn't.
We never had uproar of racism, in a sense, if you want to call it a racist act, was a lot normal. I remember the first time I got called the N-word. As a kid, I was in Butlins. I didn't even know what it meant. When I was that young, I didn't know what it meant. Yeah. And these things were just normal. And I said to my friend, if 2001 was now in 2021, that story would have been an uproar. My brother was found, I think it was 40 yards away from the pub that we was all at, and there was 50 police officers, or 30 or 50 police officers, a helicopter and dogs, and they couldn't find my brother yards away from the pub on the side of a canal. But my mum finds him the next day. It's just in itself, it's just a crazy story. But yeah,
how old was you then?
I was 9.
Wow. How does a 9-year-old get told that their brother has been...
So I actually hated police for a long time. I hated police until I was about 25, 26. And it's crazy because it wasn't until they actually done something for me that I then looked and went, they're not all the same. I was literally thinking like a racist. All black people hate them. All Asian people hate them. I saw police, spit, hated them, got this weird feeling in my chest, and I still get a weird feeling because of what we went through. But it was oh my God, they're people. They're not all the same.
And I have to kind of caveat that and say it's true. The institution's racist. Not all of the police officers are racist.
Oh yeah, of course.
And don't get me wrong. There's a few of them that are racist.
Yeah. It's a given.
But it is the institution, the structure of it that, in my opinion, needs to be addressed and investigated. But
I remember there's a sticking image in my head of police when I was young, and it was they used to come and knock on my door on the anniversary of my brother's death, asked to see my mum, and then just laugh.
Wow.
I was just going into secondary school, and the police would come every year and laugh. So as a kid, I didn't understand, but now I look back now and I'm it's making me like, feel sick right now.
Yeah.
Like I've got goosebumps and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling angry just thinking about it. But that is a lasting image that sticks in my head till this day. How tormenting people could be.
Disgusting.
And my mum would obviously like be raging, screaming, shouting, shutting the door on them and stuff. And horrible things, man.
Wow, disgusting. Luke, honestly, we could talk for
hours and hours and hours.
absolute hours and hours and hours. But I know people's got things to do. So I just want to thank you for coming and sharing. And when I mean sharing, because you know sometimes it's not easy to share sides of us that are in some cases a little bit darker than our lighter side. So just thank you for being so honest and transparent. And obviously, I wish you all the best. I mean, I've got 4 followers. You've got 1.2 million or 1.3 million followers. But guys, if you are not following Luke, just let the people know what your social handles are.
Yeah, my handles, you can just type in Luke Vernon _ and you should find me on all my social medias.
Is that for all of them, Luke Vernon
Yeah,
_?
apart from my Snapchat. But if you go onto my Instagram, there's a link tree and you'll be able to follow everything that I do. But the main ones I use are Instagram and TikTok at the moment.
Yeah.
But I will, this is an exclusive, I will be joining a different platform very soon.
Oh. What platform?
I don't know if I'm allowed to. When does this air?
This probably doesn't air until like end of May, maybe. Early June.
I'll tell you after the cameras are off.
Okay. Good. All right then, Luke. Thank you so much, and obviously we would keep an eye on your movements and see where you're up to next, and just keep supporting. And thank you for coming through and sharing.
Thank you for having me, man. Love.